YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, back in Total War Warhammer. But first, wanted to show you the Grand Campaign custom map mod that I use, this GCCM. Now has a rivers segment to it that you can download, and it creates river crossing battles wherever there's bridges and river crossings. So pretty cool way to spice up your campaign and do some cool stuff with it. Obviously, if you want to see the Grand Campaign map, it's right here. You got the Grand Campaign map pack, and you can basically, if you download this one, this is the main one that's required, and then it has links to all the other ones that you can download, and you can see that I actually have... I don't have this one? What? Well, I'll be getting that one. Optional tweaks, let's see what it says. Sorry, I'm just looking at this real quick before we get started. This mod tweaks for the due to their nature can interfere with other mods like overhauls. That's why they're not included in the pack. Okay, yeah, I'm not worried about the tweaks. I should be good. But yeah, in any case, definitely recommend this mod if you like playing campaign. It's a lot of fun. And of course, if you want to just keep whatever creative assembly gave you, then that's fine as well. Let's jump into the game. So I do have some replays for you. Today it's going to be one of my replays. Let's get these sorted in order. Got to play a Chaos versus Greenskins game. You can see the armies here. My opponent goes heavy Goblin, so pretty much all Goblin army here, which is cool and thematic. And then on my side, I've got the Everwatcher with an infantry heavy army, so avoiding the very common double Shaggoth build. And gonna go very infantry heavy. Now let me explain the army and kind of what my hope is with it, and we'll see whether or not it works out. So on either flank, I have a unit of Chaos Marauders. These guys are shielded. They should be decentish against Goblin units or other cheap greenskin units found on the flank. I have Knights with Lances who can devastate greenskin infantry and should be pretty good against greenskin cavalry. I've got 4 Forsaken, 2 on either side of the center. These guys are really good against anything low armor, so I was thinking, you know, maybe up against big guns or anything below that level. In case there was Black Orcs, I had a couple of Marauders up front to break the charge, Aspiring Champions for extra tankiness and leadership, and then the Warriors with great weapons. And then I also have the Everwatcher, who is sporting Plague of Rust and Final Transmutation. So Plague of Rust would allow me to tear off the armor on Black Orcs, basically to help me win. And then also I've got the Damage Resistance Scroll and the Scroll of Power. But that's pretty much my army. My opponent in his all-Goblin army, you saw most of it. He's got a Spider Rider Archer and a Wolf Rider over here, and then Morgrum's Mangy Marauders and the Moon Howlers. His mainline infantry is just upgraded Night Gobbos. Pretty interesting. I kind of almost think that maybe just upgraded standard Goblins may have been better because they're cheaper. Then we've got 4 Night Goblin Archers, a Night Goblin Shaman, the Rusty Heirs, and then Skarsnik is leading, and he's got 2... Doom Diver catapults, and then 3 Squig Herd. He's obviously hoping to hold and then do some rear charging with the Squig Herd. If I did bring double Shaggoth builds, he's got the Rusty Heirs and a whole bunch of archers, so he could potentially try and damage that stuff, but it's going to be hard for a Goblin army to hold up against Chaos, in my opinion, regardless of the type of build. You'd have to have a lot of Black Orcs, I think, to really hold up pretty well against especially a heavy Chaos infantry build. Over here, and I could be wrong, I've got my Marauders tanking the fire, so I'm just keeping his Morgrum's Mangy Marauders away from my Chaos Knights, who I'm keeping safe within the woods. And then back here I'm using my Forsaken and Chaos Marauders just to kind of force his units away. He's trying to get rid of these Marauders here, so he's shot them and then trying to do quick charges. But I'm using the fast-moving Forsaken nearby to make him pay for charging. So we're going to keep him away. And I'm going to try and keep his Wolf Riders and Spider Riders, just basically just keep them occupied. I couldn't see his main line just yet because they're still hidden. So I'm moving forward towards the center of the map. I figured that he had some units stationed here, but he doesn't. He's actually gone open center and then has flanks. And I think his hope is to keep me busy with stuff, bombard with the catapults, which are already getting a pretty fair number of kills. It's a matter of whether they're the important kills here. So I'm going to go ahead and move forward up the center. You can see over here he did get some of my Marauders, but these guys are fodder right now, and they're wasting a lot of ammunition on Morgrum's Mangy Marauders, keeping them away from my cavalry, which would be a much more worthwhile target for him. So far the Marauders are doing what I want them to do, and his catapults are definitely going to do some bombardment. He's going to get a little bit hasty here, I think, with the squids, pretty sweet charge, not gonna lie. He's gonna go full on in with the squigs, but squigs are not gonna do good against the units that are over here. I've got heavy cavalry, I've got Forsaken, and squigs are gonna get shredded without infantry support. The mainline fight begins, and he brings in immediately an Itchy Nuisance, which is a great call. He's going to need it to try and slow down my Forsaken. The Everwatcher is going to bypass the main fight, and he's going to drop a final transmutation over here, which should help debuff some of the effects going on from Waaagh. And you can see that with the Waaagh, his Night Goblins did cut through me pretty quickly over there, but my Aspiring Champion managed to tank. You can see these Forsaken got beaten really bad on that flank with the combination of Waaagh and Archer Fire, but now I'm into his Archers, and Archers won't be able to do anything to Sarthorael, so he's going to be quite safe. And then I've broken through the squishy squigs of his right flank, and now my Chaos Knights with Lances are going to decimate his Night Goblin Archers. And they will not be able to save themselves from this. It is going to be ugly. It's going to be very ugly indeed. See over here some sneaky stabbing going on. He's trying to keep some of his units in, but yeah, both of my cavalry units now free. I'm going to get another cycle charge here. Just look at the goblins fly. So much charge on a Chaos Knight with Lances. They have huge charge. And then Everwatcher's over here going to town on the Rusty Airs. He's already racked up 40 kills. And the Goblin Archers are facing a day of reckoning. So he definitely did good over here, where he was able to support with the Waaagh, but my Aspiring Champions didn't break, and they held enough of his troops for long enough to help me get the job done. And then over here, I'm able to start reinforcing. My Chaos Warriors and Forsaken are holding. He's continuing to use Itchy Nuisance, which is definitely the right thing for him to do. But now all of his Archers are gone, one of his Catapults is gone, and at this point, all of his units are caught up in combat. His Shaman's trying to get away from my Forsaken, which he did momentarily. He's going to be forced to charge in with the Mangy Marauders, but at this point, I've got a terror-inducing Sarthorael, who's going to do pretty good against Goblins because he has a pretty big area of effect. And then my Chaos Knights with Lances are going to intercept some Wolf Riders who were coming to reinforce, and then they're going to get rear charges into these squishy Goblins. And at this point, it is the Everwatcher is going to basically clean house on Skarsnik's troops. The terror is real. So that's where I'm almost thinking that the standard Goblins, fully upgraded, may have worked better here because they were cheaper, and it gets their leadership up really high, where it's actually difficult to take advantage of the terror. Where in this case, and they have shields and stuff like that. Well, you know, the Fanatics may have shields too. I don't remember. I have to go look. But I've had that used against me before, where someone did like a full-on gold chevron standard Goblins, and they were pretty difficult to deal with when they had the right leadership buffs. You can see my Chaos Warriors were having a time there because he really didn't have anything to bring them down with other than the squigs, and the squigs would have needed them to be fixed properly from the front. But the support, so I guess the synergy of all the different Chaos units, the leadership buffing and tankiness of the champions, the high damage of the Forsaken, and the meat shielding capabilities of the Marauders, and then you pack that with the hard punch right here that came in from both these Chaos Knights, racking up a chevron's worth of Archer kills pretty quickly, and then the rear charges. You can see, though, where that Waaagh got popped, I mean, my Forsaken got destroyed. I probably missed a charge order, which is why this one got 0. But still, they got absolutely wrecked. But these kind of troops are actually the type of troops that Sarthorael will do quite well against. There's not a whole lot in this army that's going to be good versus Sarthorael because all the Archers are pretty much worthless. He has 70% missile resistance, so shooting this bird is like shooting a brick wall. You're not going to get a whole lot out of it. So anyway, hope y'all enjoyed that. So what I was hoping for there was I was going to try and debuff the greenskins with final transmutation, which I did. I had the Plague of Rust, which didn't come in very handy here because nothing has a lot of armor in this army, but could have been good to help bring down a Black Orc. So that was my plan. It ended up working out this time. Do hope y'all enjoyed the Everwatcher build. I thought that was kind of a fun one. It gives you a chance to use Chaos Knights, which don't get used all that often, as well as some of the Chaos Infantry that doesn't always see the battlefield. Hope y'all enjoyed it. HeirofCarthage signing out. Thanks for MSI for sponsoring. Thank you for being here. Let me know what kind of content you want to see going forward. I love making this stuff for you, and I hope you're having a good weekend. I'll see you soon.